Africa is the second largest continent on Earth and home to some of the world's oldest, richest, and most diverse cultures. It is also the only continent that stretches across all four hemispheres. Before the invasion of Europe, Africa had up to 10,000 different states and autonomous groups, each with their own distinct languages and unique customs. This explains why there are more than 2,000 recognized languages spoken in regions of Africa. But today, Africa consists of 54 sovereign states, a concept introduced after the 1984 Berlin Conference and the subsequent scramble for Africa by European superpower of the time. So it is not surprising that the names of most African countries today are remnants of the colonial legacy. In this video, you will learn how each African country got its name, as well as some interesting facts about each country. Please support us by subscribing to this channel. Let us start with the origin of the name Africa. The origin of the name Africa is greatly disputed by scholars, but there are a few theories. Many believe it stems from the words used by the Phoenicians, Greeks, Latins, Berbers, and Romans. One theory suggests that the name Africa may have originated from the Phoenician word Afa, which means dust. The Phoenicians arrived on the North African coast around 900 BC, and they may have named Africa after the reddish desert soil found in the region. Another theory is that the name stems from the Latin word Africa, meaning sunny or hot, due to the region's predominantly warm climate. The Greek word Afrik means without cold. Again, this could be a reference to the region's warm climate. There is also another theory that suggests that the name Africa may have roots in the Berber word Ifri or Ifran, meaning cave, in reference to cave dwellers. The Berbers are a group of indigenous people who live in North Africa. However, following the conquest of Carthage by the Romans in 146 BC, they adopted the term Africa to describe the region in what is now modern-day Tunisia. The Romans may have simply adopted the name from the Phoenicians or Berbers, but the term Africa eventually came to be used for the entire continent. The origin of each country's name is in alphabetical order in this video, but I will add a timestamp for each country for easy navigation in case you just want to learn about a particular country. First on our list is Algeria, located in North Africa. It is also the largest country on the continent by land area. The name Algeria is derived from the capital city of Algiers or Aljazair in Arabic, which means the islands. Next, we have Angola, a country located on the Atlantic coast of Southern Africa and has more Portuguese speakers than Portugal. The name Angola is derived from Angola, a title used by the rulers of the Kingdom of Ndongo. Moving on to West Africa, we have the Republic of Benin, formerly known as Dahomey. The then president Matthew Kereko changed the name from Dahomey to the Republic of Benin in 1975. The exact origin of Benin is uncertain, but it is thought to be related to the ancient Benin of Nigeria. Botswana, formerly known as Bechuanaland, is a landlocked country in southern Africa. The country is the home to the world's biggest concentration of elephants, and the name Botswana means land of the Tswana, referring to the dominant ethnic group in the country. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is another landlocked country in West Africa, formerly known as the Republic of Upper Volta until 1984, when the name was changed to Burkina Faso by the then leader Thomas Sankara. The name stems from the different languages spoken in the country, and it means land of honest people or land of incorruptible people. Burundi. The Republic of Burundi, formerly known as Urundi, is one of Africa's smallest countries. Modern Burundi was named during the Belgian colonial rule by the addition of the letter B in front of the name Urundi. The origin of Urundi is uncertain, but the name is from the indigenous Kirundi language. Cabo Verde. The Republic of Cabo Verde, formerly known as Cape Verde, is an island country in West Africa. It is an archipelago consisting of 10 islands and 5 islets, uninhabited until the 15th century. The country is named after the peninsula of Cape Verde on the Senegalese coast. The name Cape Verde in turn means the Green Cape in Portuguese. In 2013, the government officially changed its name from Cape Verde to its original Portuguese name, the Republic of Cabo Verde. Cameroon. Cameroon is located in Central Africa, and it has one of the most unique names in Africa. When the Portuguese explorers reached the coast in the 15th century, they were intrigued by the large number of shrimps they found in the river Wori. These explorers renamed the area Rio de Comoros, meaning River of Shrimps, which became Cameroon in English. Next, we have the Central African Republic, which is a landlocked country located in the heart of Africa. The name of the Central African Republic is derived from its geographical location in the central region of Africa. It was previously known as Ubangi-Shari, which was a part of the French Equatorial Africa until December 1, 1958. Chad. Just north to the Central African Republic is the Republic of Chad, named after Lake Chad on its southwestern border. The lake in turn takes its name from the local Kanuri word, which means a large expanse of water, or simply lake. Comoros, officially known as the Union of the Comoros, is a group of 3 major islands in the Indian Ocean between the southeastern coast of Africa and Madagascar. The country, famous for its aromatic spices, got its name from the Arabic word Kamar, which means moon. Cote d'Ivoire. The Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, also known as Ivory Coast, is a coastal country in West Africa. As a former French colony, the country got its name from the intensive ivory trade that took place along its coast from the 15th to the 17th centuries. The Congos. The Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of the Congo are 2 independent neighboring countries in Central Africa, whose names have the same origin. Both countries derived their name from the Congo River. The Congo River in turn was named after the Congo Kingdom, a powerful state in the region during the pre-colonial period. However, these 2 countries are not the same, so here is a quick explanation that will help you differentiate between the 2 Congos. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, formerly known as Zaire, was a Belgian colony until its independence in 1960. It is also the second largest country in Africa, and it is also known as Congo Kinshasa, DR Congo, or Big Congo to distinguish it from its neighbor Congo. The Republic of the Congo, on the other hand, was a French colony until its independence in 1960. It is sometimes referred to as Little Congo, or more commonly Congo-Brazzaville, to distinguish it from DR Congo. Moving on to East Africa, we have Djibouti, an important maritime country that occupies a strategic geographic location at the intersection of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. The country was formerly known as French Somaliland and later the French territory of Afar and Issa's before its independence from France in 1977. The origin of the name Djibouti is often disputed and has become a subject of legend. So depending on whom you ask, the name Djibouti can mean different things. However, one of the most prevalent theories is that the name is from the Afar word Djibouti, which means plate. Egypt. Egypt is one of the oldest countries in Africa, the home to the famous pyramids of Giza and other historically important sites. The name of the country comes from the ancient Greek Aegyptos, which in turn comes from the Egyptian name Ut Capita, which translates to house of the spirit or soul of Peter. Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is a small country wedged between Cameroon and Gabon on the west coast of Central Africa. It was formerly known as the colony of Spanish Guinea, and it still remains the only African country to have Spanish as its official language. The name Equatorial Guinea refers to the location of the country near both the equator and the African region of Guinea. The origin of the word Guinea is from the Portuguese word which means black. Eritrea. Eritrea is a country in the Horn of Africa region of Eastern Africa. It is also one of the most historically important countries in Africa, with over 80,000 archaeological sites. The name Eritrea is derived from the ancient Greek name for the Red Sea, Eritrea Thalassa. Eswatini. Eswatini is a landlocked country in southern Africa. It is also one of the few countries in the world, and the only one in Africa, where absolute monarchy is still being practiced. The country was previously called Swaziland, but in 2018, to celebrate the country's 50 years of independence, King Mswati III renamed the country from Swaziland to Eswatini, which means land of the Swazis, referring to the country's dominant ethnic group. Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the oldest countries in Africa, located in the Horn of Africa region of Eastern Africa. The country is unique in many ways, and one of them is that they have their own calendar different from the Western calendar. This means that the Ethiopian calendar is always 7 to 8 years behind. The origin of the name Ethiopia is from the ancient Greek word Aitio, which means I born, and Op, which means face. Together, these two words mean burnt face, which was used to refer to the people living south of Egypt. Gabon. Gabon is a country in Central Africa and was part of French Equatorial Africa until its independence in 1960. The name Gabon is from the Portuguese word Gabão, which means cloak or hood, in reference to the shape of the estuary of the Comoros River. Gambia. The Republic of the Gambia is a small country sandwiched between Senegal on Africa's west coast. This country has a bizarre and tiny shape, with its widest point being just 30 miles across. In addition, it has the river Gambia running through its center, and it's from the river that it got its name. The name Gambia comes from the Portuguese word cambio, meaning trade. Ghana. Formerly known as the Gold Coast, it is one of the most populous countries in West Africa. It is also one of the world's largest producers of gold, hence its former name, Gold Coast. However, the name Ghana was first a title given to the emperor of the ancient Ghana Empire, which was located in the modern-day southeast of Mauritania and western Mali. The Republic of Guinea and the Republic of Guinea-Bissau are two independent neighboring countries in West Africa. Just like the Congos, whose name have the same origin, the Guineas too have a similar origin. The origin of the word Guinea is from the Portuguese word Guinea, which means black. This is also true for Equatorial Guinea in Central Africa. Just a quick note on the differences between these two countries. The Republic of Guinea was formerly French Guinea, and it was a French colony until its independence in 1958. It is sometimes referred to as Guinea-Conakry, after its capital, Conakry, to distinguish it from its neighbor. The Republic of Guinea-Bissau is just northwest of Guinea-Conakry, and it was previously a Portuguese colony. So when the country gained independence from Portugal in the 1970s, its name was officially changed from the Portuguese Guinea to Guinea-Bissau, with the Bissau added to prevent confusion with Guinea-Conakry. Kenya. Kenya is located on the east coast of Africa, bordering the Indian Ocean. It is one of Africa's most beautiful countries, and it got its name from Mount Kenya, the second highest mountain in Africa after Kilimanjaro. The name Kenya comes from some of the ethnic groups that live around the lower slopes of the mountain. The Kikuyu ethnic group calls it Kirinyaga. The Kamba ethnic group calls it Kinya, while the Embu ethnic group calls it Kirenya. All these three names have the same meaning, and it means the mountain of whiteness, referring to the glacial-capped peaks. Another interesting thing to note about the mountain is that it holds a sacred value for the people, and it is often referred to as God's resting place or God's mountain. Lesotho. Lesotho is a unique country in southern Africa nicknamed the Kingdom in the Sky. It is the only independent state on the planet that exists entirely above 1,000 meters. Lesotho is one of the 3 enclaves country in the world. That is, it is completely surrounded by South Africa. It was previously known as Basuto land until its independence from the United Kingdom in 1966. The name Lesotho means land of the people who speak Sesotho. Sesotho is the official language of the country, while Basotho is the name of the ethnic group which makes up more than 90% of the country's population. Liberia. The Republic of Liberia is a country in West Africa with a fascinating history. It was founded in 1821 by the American Colonization Society as a home for freed slaves. Liberia declared independence in 1847, thus becoming the first African country to do so. The name Liberia is from the Latin word liber, which means free. Lybia. Lybia is a desert country in North Africa, as well as the 4th largest country in Africa. It has a rich history, serving as home to different ancient empires, from the Carthaginian Empire to the Persians, Greeks, Roman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. The name Libya comes from the ancient Egyptian word Libu, which refers to the ancient Libyan tribe of Berber origin who lived around Cyrenaica. Madagascar. Madagascar is an island country located off the southeast coast of Africa. It is the world's 4th largest island, and it has some unique wildlife found nowhere else. The origin of the name Madagascar is uncertain, but it is called Madagascar by the local Malagasy people. The word Madagascar was first used by the Venetian explorer Marco Polo in the 13th century, but this was a corrupted transliteration of Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia. So even though he never visited the island, Marco Polo is often credited as one of the first people to use a name similar to present-day Madagascar. However, there is another possible explanation. In 1885, French explorer Alfred Grandidia arrived in Madagascar and began a quest to study the island. He later discovered that Madagascar was the same island that Richard the Aldingham's famous medieval map, Hereford Mappa Mundi, referred to as Malichu. But In an earlier world map, the Tabula Rogeriana by Muhammad al-Idris in the 12th century, the island was named Gesira al-Malay, meaning the island of Malay, referring to the early Austroasian settlers of the island. However, the Greek inverted the name to Malay Gesira, which then slowly transformed over the years from Malay Gesira, Made Gesira, and finally Madagascar. Malawi, known as the warm heart of Africa, is a landlocked country in southeastern Africa. However, about a fifth of the country is covered by Lake Malawi, from where it got its name. The country was formerly known as the Nyasa land but was renamed Malawi by President Hastings Banda after the country got its independence from the United Kingdom in 1964. Malawi, in turn, is from the Chewa word Malawi, which means flames or flaming water, referring to the sun's dazzling reflection on Lake Malawi. Mali. The Republic of Mali is a landlocked country in West Africa. It is also one of the world's largest producers of gold and the home to the famous Mansa Musa, a man purported to be the richest man to have ever lived. The name Mali is taken from the Mali Empire, which was one of the most powerful empires in West African history. However, there are different theories on the origin of the name Mali. The first theory is that the name Mali comes from the Mandinka phrase meaning where the king lives. The second theory suggests that the word Mali means hippopotamus in Malinke and Bamana. Mauritania. Just northwest to the Republic of Mali is Mauritania, a country almost covered entirely by the Sahara Desert. The name Mauritania is derived from the ancient Berber kingdom of Mauritania, which existed in parts of present-day Morocco and Algeria. The name Mauritania, in turn, is from the Roman and Greek word for the Maori people of Berber ancestry. Mauritius. Mauritius is an island in the Indian Ocean off the eastern coast of Africa, next to Madagascar. It was the only known home of the dodo bird before it went extinct. The island was uninhabited for several years until the arrival of the Portuguese in the 16th century and later the Dutch toward the end of the century. It was the Dutch that established a settlement and named the island after Prince Maurice of Nassau, a member of the House of Nassau. Morocco. Moving back to North Africa, we have the Kingdom of Morocco. The oldest existing and continually operating educational institution in the world, the University of Al Qarawiyyin, is found in Morocco. The name Morocco is the English form of the Spanish name for the country, Marruecos, derived from the name of the city of Marrakesh. The name Marrakesh, in turn, is from the Berber word Amurakush, meaning the land of God. Mozambique. The Republic of Mozambique is a coastal country in Southeast Africa bordering the Indian Ocean. This beautiful country got its name from the island of Mozambique off its northern coast. The Portuguese arrived on the island in the later part of the 15th century. But before then, Arab Muslim traders were the ones who controlled the island. However, the Portuguese force gradually took over control from the Arabs, and after just a few decades, it became a Portuguese colony. The Portuguese decided to name the island after the then Sultan of the land, Musa bin Bik. The Portuguese name for the island is Mozambique. Namibia. The Republic of Namibia, formerly known as Southwest Africa, is a coastal country situated between the Namib and the Kalahari deserts. The country got its name from the mesmerizing Namib Desert along the Atlantic coast, which is also the world's oldest desert. The word Namib is from the Nama language and it means vast place. Niger. The Republic of the Niger is a landlocked country in West Africa. It is predominantly a desert country with the vast Sahara Desert covering over 80% of its land. Before the French colonizers arrived in the late 19th century, the region was an assemblage of diverse local kingdoms such as the Hausas, the Tuaregs, the Songhai, the Zamar, and the Kanouris. But in the early 20th century, the French conquered the region and called it Niger after the Niger River, which flows through the southwestern part of the country. The Niger River in turn is from the Tamakesh phrase Gar Ngar, which means river of rivers. Next, we have Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, also known as the Giant of Africa. The country is home to over 200 million people with more than 300 ethnic groups and over 500 languages. But just like the Republic of the Niger, Nigeria got its name from the Niger River, which flows through it. The name was coined by British journalist Flora Shaw in 1897 in an essay titled Nigeria for the Times newspaper. Flora Shaw, who later became the wife of Frederick Lugard, the then High Commissioner of the Northern Nigeria Protectorate, suggested the name Nigeria because it was shorter than Royal Niger Company territories used to represent the region at the time. Rwanda. Rwanda is a small landlocked country in Central Africa and also known as the Land of 1,000 Hills. It was part of Rwanda-Urundi during the colonial administration until 1962, when Rwanda gained independence and separated from Burundi. The name Rwanda is from the Kinyarwanda word Rwanda, which means growth or expansion. Sao Tome and Principe. Sao Tome and Principe is a small island country off the coast of West Africa. It consists of two archipelagos around the two main islands of Sao Tome and Principe. Sao Tome, which is the larger of the two, was named after Saint Thomas in honor of the day of its discovery by Portuguese explorers in 1471. The smaller island was called Ilha do Príncipe or Prince Island in reference to the Prince of Portugal. Senegal. The Republic of Senegal is a coastal country on the westernmost part of the continental Africa. It was once the largest slave trading center on the African coast. The country is named after the Senegal River. The name of the river, in turn, may be from the Portuguese transliteration of Zenaga, a Berber language spoken in Mauritania and northern Senegal. Alternatively, it could also be from the Wolof word Sunungal, which translates to our canoe. Seychelles. Seychelles is an archipelago of 115 islands scattered across the Indian Ocean off the east coast of Africa. The island was named after Jean Moreau de Seychelles, a French politician and minister of finance in the 18th century. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a coastal country in West Africa. It derives its name from the Lion Mountains, a range of hills that surrounds the harbour. It was first called Serra Leoa, Lioness Mountain, by a Portuguese explorer in the 15th century, but was later changed to Sierra Leone by Italian cartographers years later. Somalia. Somalia is a country located in a unique part of the continent on the Horn of Africa. It was the location of the ancient land of Punt, and there are different theories about the origin of the name. The first one is that Somalia is from the name Somali, the oldest common ancestor of the Somali clans. Another theory suggests that the name is from the Somali word so and mal, which means go and milk, a reference to the nomadic lifestyle of the Somali people. South Africa. South Africa is another African country that got its name from its geographical location. Here are two interesting facts about South Africa. 1. It has 3 capital cities, and 2. It has 12 official languages. Sudan and South Sudan. Sudan and South Sudan are 2 countries in Northeast Africa that used to be together. This region was the home to the ancient kingdom of Kush. Sudan has nearly twice the number of pyramids as Egypt, and they are called the Nubian pyramids. The origin of the name Sudan is from the Arabic Bilad as Sudan, or the land of the blacks. Tanzania, a coastal country in East Africa and home to Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's tallest mountain, and the world's largest freestanding mountain. The name of Tanzania is a combination of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, the 2 states that merged to form the country in 1964. Tanganyika is from the Swahili words Tanga meaning sail and Yika which means uninhabited plain or wilderness, creating the phrase sail in the wilderness. Zanzibar is from Zengi, a name used by medieval Muslim geographers to refer to people in the location, and the Arabic word bar, which means coast or shore. Togo. Togo is a small country sandwiched between Ghana and the Republic of Benin in West Africa. The country was once known as the Slave Coast because it served as a slave trading outpost for the Europeans. The name Togo is from the Ewe language words to meaning river and godo meaning on the other side or shore. Together, these words mean behind the river. Tunisia. Tunisia is the northernmost country in Africa. It was originally a Berber settlement until it was taken over by the Phoenicians during the 1st millennium BC. There are 3 possible theories about the origin of the name. The first theory is that Tunisia is from the Berber root word ens, which means to lay down or encampment. This theory indicates that the site was originally a camp or rest stop. Another possible theory is that it was named after the Punic god Tanith. Finally, the name may be from the ancient city of Tynis mentioned by ancient Greek authors. Uganda. Uganda is a landlocked country in East Africa. It is the true source of the Nile River and home to Lake Victoria, the world's 2nd largest freshwater lake. The country is named after the Buganda Kingdom, which encompasses a large portion of the south of the country, and this name was adopted by the British colonial ruler in the 19th century. Zambia and Zimbabwe. Last but not least are Zambia and Zimbabwe. Zambia and Zimbabwe are countries in southern Africa previously known as Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia respectively during the British colonial period. This region is home to the popular Musi Otoya waterfall, also known as the Victoria Falls. Zambia derives its name from the Zambezi River, which means the Grand River, and Zimbabwe derives its name from the Shona word Zembaza Mabwe, which means houses of stone, referring to Great Zimbabwe Ruins. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to check out our other videos and subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories about Africa from an African.